Hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing absolutely fabulous, great and amazing. Victorious! Sorry, a bit dramatic. Now listen, Victorious is a show that many consider to be an absolute classic, a gem, and a core part of their childhood. Now I'll be very honest, before watching season 1 for the purpose of this review, I had very little knowledge on what the show was really about. I'd only seen little snippets of it here and there through my childhood, but never really took time to watch it. But now I guess you can say I'm a bit more informed. What I did know, however, was at some point this show was incredibly bloody popular, and it came out during the time where Nickelodeon was pumping out classics like it was taking a shit after a night out at Taco Bell. Coming out in March of 2010, airing alongside shows like iCarly, as well as Big Time Rush. And by the way, Big Time Rush, I will say this right now, had some of the biggest bangers in history. Okay, that's a slight exaggeration, but hey, they did have some bangers. I'll goddamn fight you if you tell me Big Time Rush ain't have some bangers. I dare you to say that. I'm sorry, I've not slept well in about 4 days. Back to the main topic of this video. Apart from the very few times I may have stumbled upon this show as a child, and perhaps the few minutes I'd watch here and there, I knew very little about this show. I just simply never took time to actually properly watch the show, and the little I did watch I'd completely forgotten about. Now I've heard in the past that this show is actually quite enjoyable. However, that's from a friend and they were looking through a lens of nostalgia. So how accurate is that statement really? What I do know is that this show is rather beloved and it's got a passionate fan base even till this day, so there's got to be something good about it, right? Well, let's find out and see as I review season 1 of Victorious. Yes, a man who's pushing 30 making a video on Victorious. So what? Stop laughing at me! Now, during a time when Nickelodeon was still creating shows that would permanently excavate their way into the innermost part of the memories of millions of children around the world, and the time where Fairy Odd Parents hadn't turned into complete dog water just yet, another juggernaut was introduced that would be an addition to Nickelodeon's incredibly long list of successful bangers. Bangers that will forever be entrenched inside our hearts, the hearts of the 90s kids, the hearts of the 2000 kids, the hearts of everyone. Nickelodeon, you did your thing. Victorious was so popular, in fact, it won the Kids' Choice Awards in 2012 and 2013. Consecutively, even beating out shows like iCarly. That's when you know it's a big deal. The show also earned 4 Emmy nominations. I once earned a participation trophy when I was a child. The most recognition I've ever gotten. Essentially, this show was a big deal and it accumulated a strong and passionate fan base. A fan base that still talks about it till this very day on platforms like Reddit, or the many fan accounts that make edits about the show. So I've decided to check out why. What makes this show so special? And what will I think of it compared to other Nickelodeon gems like iCarly? So as you all likely know, Victorious was produced by none other than Dan Schneider, a once staple part of the entertainment industry, and someone who was honestly really respected for being the creator of so many shows that became gems and hold a special place in the hearts of millions. He was even referred to as the Norman Lear of children's entertainment, creating shows like iCarly, Drake and Josh and The Amanda Show, but of course any respect for him is now long gone due to a lot of stuff that has come out about him, revealing his true foot-obsessed colors, and I'm not going to go into detail about that. I'm sure we all know exactly what I'm talking about, and I don't need to go into further detail. This is not what this video is about, so if you want to find out, just search it on Google. There'll be many results. So Victorious is about an impressively talented girl. She can sing, she can dance, she can damn near do backflips. And she manages to find herself accepted into an elite performing arts school called Hollywood Arts, full of other young, very talented people, as well as some very odd individuals as well. Now the main star of the show, the person who's in the middle of it all, the character who's our protagonist, is called Tori Vega. Now don't get me wrong, Tori has plenty of time to shine and there are many moments in the show where I think she's very likable and quite funny, and her character actually has some depth in a way that you actually want to learn more about her. However, out of all the characters, she tends to be the most unlikable at times. Like sometimes I just find her insufferable for some reason. Other characters include Andre Harris, who, by the way, is one of my favourite characters in this show, I will say that. I stand on that. He's got some really memorable scenes and quite a lot of quotables that just come to my head immediately. And that's just from one season, who knows what else he has in store. On top of that, he has great chemistry with the rest of the cast. And this leads to a sense of authenticity and genuine interaction between him and other members of the show. Specifically with Tori though, I do feel like those two have such a genuine bond and connection, and it really resonates through the screen as I watch. They genuinely just come across as having great chemistry with one another. You've got Robbie Shapiro, and oh my days, he needs some help. Medical, physical, everything. Send him to the loony bin. So he's got this puppet, or more correctly I should say a ventriloquist dummy, but he seems to believe that this dummy, this thing, is actually alive. And it's terrifying. It looks creepy and hideous. No, but I'm actually being serious. Somebody get this kid some therapy, please. Now Robbie's puppet is called Rex, who takes the role as a completely separate character. I know. What's going on here? Please tell me. But listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be very truthful. Rex is actually one of the funnier characters in the show. I don't know why.
You're just like cold-blooded.
Jade, cold-blooded? What a surprise.
There's something very peculiar about his delivery of lines, and I just find it rather humorous in nature. Now, and I definitely wouldn't say anything in this show particularly made me laugh out loud, crazy, doing backflips and front flips and diving off a trampoline. But out of all the characters, he probably made me chuckle the most. Why Rex, this puppet, is actually a character, I have no idea. Jade is another main character that's initially introduced as some sort of antagonist to Tori's protagonist, somewhat of the villain of the show, the arch nemesis to Tori, but it's interesting how their relationship will transform over time. I just thoroughly enjoy a lot of her witty one-liners and bombastic side eyes. I feel like she's judging me. Oh yes, let's not forget Trina Vega, sister of Tori Vega and the absolute crackhead of the family. Someone please make sure she's taking her meds, cause I think she's missed several days, or even months. Fuck, she might have never taken them. Now, and honestly speaking, I'd be lying if I said she didn't make me laugh, because she did. She did several times. One scene in particular that comes to mind is her Chicago performance. I have no words. For some reason, that scene cracked me up more than it should have. I feel ashamed for even laughing as much as I did. I don't know why, I just found it really funny. Chicago, Chicago. It's the immense amount of effort she's putting in and the absolute atrocious result of her singing. It all comes together to form this rather humorous scene. Watching Trina Vega was like watching a rabid dog do a line of bloody coke after doing a backflip onto a front yard, while simultaneously scraping its nuts against the grassy ground. Simply put, you're left absolutely speechless. Okay, I'm so sorry. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. Another character is Kat Valentine, who's incredibly lovely and sweet, but she's quite the airhead as well. I don't think she has many thoughts going up in there. Then you've got Beck Oliver, boyfriend to Jade, who is essentially the heartthrob of the series. He has everyone apparently hitting on him, even a bloody female cop. Someone send her to jail. Call the police. Oh, well actually I don't think she is the police, but shut up, you know what I'm saying. She's a danger to society. Now through the season we follow the wild and often wacky shenanigans of their group, whilst they traverse through their teenage years, growing up and experiencing life together at Hollywood Arts. We've also got some rather weird and wacky side characters that make their appearance here and there, like Mr. Sick. Now this said gentleman is the acting teacher, a very eccentric one at that, but then again, which acting teacher isn't? So hey, let's talk about the first episode, get a consensus about how we feel, how I feel about this show in general. So in the first episode we start off with Tori and her sister. Tori doesn't yet go to Hollywood Art, she doesn't yet attend the school, but her sister Trina does. Somehow. Now look, Hollywood Arts is meant to be a prestigious school. A school for the gifted, a school for the talented, a school for the cream of the crop. Is that the saying? I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. Simply put, you're not going to be able to get into it just by being able to play the triangle. No, you need talent, you need a gift. Whether it's in singing or dancing or design or whatever, or at least I think it is. I'm pretty sure. But like I said, the gist is that you need to be extremely talented. But through the first season, we're shown that Trina's about as talented as a bloody doorknob. So if this is meant to be a skill for the very gifted, for the cream of the crop when it comes to talent, why the hell is she there? Is there any explanations? Please make it make sense. Or is it just one giant plot hole? Hey, for all I know, perhaps it mentions it in another season, but I've just not gotten up to it. I'm just talking about season 1 after all. But essentially, the show conveys her to be an absolute joke who thinks she's far better than she actually is. Anyways, we're also introduced to Andre, yay, who's helping Trina with her performance. Or I should say, helping her rehearse for her performance. Which is really important to her because there's going to be big names and scouts there attending, so this could potentially be a big opportunity for her. However, we know nobody's going to be scouting for her. Tori's also there to help them as well. We are immediately introduced to the absolutely nightmarish horrors that is Trina's singing. Oh my goodness, make it stop, please, please. That pain brought on by Trina's singing is slightly offset by Andre's amazing piano skills. Oh my god. Somebody put him on America's Got Talent or something. He could win. Now, just before it was time for Trina to perform, unfortunately she had some sort of allergic reaction, making her tongue puff up like a puffer fish. Pucker fish? Puffer fish. Popcorn fish. I'll say this, it looks hideous. It looks terrifying and scary. How can she breathe? Oh yeah, she's got a nose, never mind. So look, she's no longer able to sing and they're left in a bit of a pickle. What's gonna happen? Who's gonna sing? The show must go on. But Andre comes up with an idea. A light bulb goes off in his head. Tori. How about Tori does it? I mean, of course, it's the perfect plan. She's been helping Trina practice this entire time. So she's gonna know all the lyrics, right? This is gonna be perfect. And yes, Tori was there to save the day. Yep, she ends up performing and does an absolutely amazing job, and everybody's clapping. Give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely fantastic. And what would you know? She gets invited to Hollywood Arts. Here's a scholarship. Your performance was just that amazing, I guess. Alright, I'll be honest, the music kind of does slap. But this is just not my style of music. I like to listen to real G music like Ice JJ Fish. There's something about you, girl, that make me want. On Tori's first day at Hollywood Arts, we're introduced to the other cast and we immediately get an idea of the dynamic between this group and the archetypes these characters will fall under. Now, during the first lesson, Tori accidentally bumps into Beck, making him pour his coffee all over himself, and Tori starts staring at Beck rather longingly. Oh, my name's Tori and I can't stop staring at Beck because he has puffy hair and his hair looks so... Did I mention he has pretty cool hair? Oh my god, Beck. Am I slightly envious of his full head of hair while my hair barely grows? Maybe. But you'll never know. Anyways, Tori tries to help him dry it off, but it's at that point that Jade walks right in. And as she enters, she must have felt slightly threatened by Tori. Because even though the situation was fully explained to her, she still doesn't let it go. I mean, she did capture a glimpse at Tori staring at him so longingly as if it was the love of her life. So I think that instantly bred a bit of jealousy and despite towards this new girl, Tori Vega. Jade does not trust Tori and she insists on being absolutely wicked and rather mean and unkind. I mean, to the extent that she tries to humiliate Tori during an acting scene under the guise that it was just improvisation. No, Jade, honey, I can smell the hatred coming from your breath. It stinks. Now, I'm going to be very honest. Initially, I wasn't sure how I exactly felt about Jade's character. Part of me actually kind of disliked her. I mean, the actress herself did an absolutely amazing job portraying the character. I guess I just wasn't initially a fan of the characteristics of said character. However, as the season went on, I actually began to like Jade as a character more and more, and I found her rather funny. Her dry, witty humor, it contrasts well with the rest of the crew, and it really makes for an interesting and fun dynamic between the whole cast of characters. Well, after the awkward series of events, of course, Tori's a bit disheartened and discouraged about even starting school in this new place where she seems to be unwanted. So she makes the decision that she's not going to stay and she wants to go back home. She simply wants to stop getting bullied by Jade, and that's a respectable decision. However, Andre convinces her to stay and give it one more chance. But Tori's not going to take this abuse lying down. No, Tori stands up for herself, later getting revenge at Jade by kissing Beck during another improv scene. Damn, oh my god. Oh, she really went there. Oh, she's a sassy bitch. Now look, I totally get that she was angry at Jade and her anger was totally justifiable. Jade was treating her like absolute garbage, fucking chewing him at the bottom of a shoe that's been scraped on the pavement, and she didn't deserve that. But let's be honest, kissing her boyfriend right in front of her, oh my goodness. Actually, let's look at Beck, because he seemed to enjoy that way more than he should have. You should be angry at him. Now the rivalry between Tori and Jade does continue for most of the season, but there are tiny little glimpses of friendship that show as the season progresses. Who knows, perhaps in later seasons they're like best friends and they're holding hands while dancing through grassy fields and looking at the sky and saying, "Yay, look how far we've come, me and you, best friends forever." I'm sorry once again. Look, honestly put, the show does have some fairly decent moments and times I really did chuckle, and it was a tiny bit of a belly laugh, just a chuckle. But nothing absolutely crazy, not the type of laugh that makes you look like you just did a line at the back of the toilet. As much of a weird fever dream this show can be, I'd be lying if I said I didn't get a laugh or two out of it. Each episode's often around like 20 minutes, the pace is often fast, and for the most part I did find it fairly engaging, and there weren't too many times I had myself really wishing I wasn't watching it and wanting to absolutely peel my eyes out of my head. So that's a positive. The show definitely does have its cringe moments, and I mean there are several, there's a lot. Sometimes it's charming, other times I want to backflip onto a concrete slab and I don't know how to backflip. And the show also suffers from laugh track syndrome, a very common thing on older sitcoms, as we all know. But hey, here's a question for you. What live action Nickelodeon show, no matter how classic, no matter how good, didn't have a laughing track and wasn't cringy from time to time? So, you know, it is what it is. Similar thing goes for the music. It can be a bit corny, but honestly, it's rather well produced, and some of it is an actual bop. You heard me right. It has me dancing a tiny bit. I'm shaking my waist. I might be twerking soon. So yeah, while too, the music can also be a bit cringy and corny and whatever you wanna call it. It is, you know, it's better than other shows I've heard. Do you know a song that is a banger that's just come to mind? I'm gonna let the light shine on me. This is me. This is who I'm destined to be now. Okay, I'm not sure those were the lyrics, but tell me if you know the song. Oh yeah, I'll quickly talk about episode 5 because out of the entire season, that's one I probably enjoyed amongst the most in the season. Jade and Beck are no longer together, and this happened because of the argument they had because Beck had a female friend. And the argument ends up with Jade breaking up with Beck. He's okay with it. Goodbye, bitch. It's essentially his reaction. Now in this episode, we get to see a more vulnerable side to Jade, something that we don't often see. You know what I'm talking about? And you've got multiple jokes in there that actually landed for me as well, pretty decently.
Just like when I was 7 and I threw away my potato patch pal, but then I realized I wanted it back. But it was too late because my mother already gave it away to some greedy orphans.
And as terrible as Trina Vegas's Chicago performance was, it is just hilarious. I'm sorry, I just love it. It's so good. I don't know why I found it funny. I mentioned it before. I'm saying it again. Why is it funny? What's my humor? Chicago. Like, it was just so bad it actually started to become funny. I guess that was the intention, obviously, right? Tori helps Jade get back with Beck once she realizes that she made a bit of a mistake, and by the way, this relationship, it seems a bit toxic. But anyways, we're moving on. Despite not really being friends at the time, Tori still decides to help her. And despite the terrible footing they started off with, it is just cool to see the progression of these two characters as the season goes on. Anyways, that's about it for my thoughts on this show this season, at least, because that's all I've watched. I mean, I may have watched episodes from other seasons here and there when I was younger, but like I said, those moments were scarce and I don't remember a thing about them. Look, overall, the show isn't bad at all. It's actually fairly decent, and I can see why it was as popular as it was. Is it something I'd frequently watch in my spare time? Probably not. Do I prefer iCarly over it? Yes, I do. But I can see why it was popular. It's a fun, weird children's TV show that's light-hearted and has funny moments, as well as hip, catchy music for the youngsters. It's okay, it gets a stamp of approval from me. So yeah, it's okay. Tell me what you think about the show. I would love to know. Leave a comment down in the comment section, please. I'd appreciate it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching. It means a lot and I appreciate you. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!